my good peoples, and thank you for joining me for another Tuesday Talk. This is Charlize Rice, the founder and executive director for Professional Career Development Services. And today I want y'all to be scam smart. I'll be talking about how to be scam smart when looking for jobs. And so I will be talking about how to detect fake or scam job postings because in today's world, especially with social media, it's easy to go to a job group or job posting group and they allow so many postings of different jobs. We want to be aware. And a lot of times, some fake or scam job postings can lead to fraud. So I want everybody to be careful, try to follow these steps, and so you can prevent one, being scammed, and two, being fraudulent, because having fraud committed on you is a whole different beast. So and before we get right into it, let me talk about some updates. So we're moving to some contactless services for our Get You There transportation program and our casual closet clothing program. And so these services always been free, but for the vouchers and for the clothing, just put in requests. We'll drop it off your door if you're in the area of Garland, depending on the zip code, or we will put it in the mail for you. So especially for the clothes, just if you're going to an interview, if you have an interview coming up, or if you need an accessory, like fellas, if you need a tie or you need a shirt or you need a belt, just indicate that information on your request. And all you have to do is go to our website, pcdservices.org. And again, these two services is for the Dallas County area. Go to the website, click on the appropriate job service, the program service at the top or on your right, depending on which platform you're using, and then put in the appropriate request. Link There's a link there, and then fill out the information. We'll get it, and then we'll follow up from there. We still want you to be job ready, be prepared, be polished and on time for your jobs and look good too. So let's get right into it. Hey, so it's going to be some stuff you'll see it on the side where I'm going to be talking about. I got some lists here. I want you to take notes or just be aware, keep it in your head or something when you're looking at job postings, because especially again, like I said, with social media, it's easy to get into these groups, look for these jobs, but I have a list over here to help you detect and spot fake or scam job postings. So let's get right into it. Number one is the company information is not listed in the job posting at all. They'll tell you all about the job, but then you're like, what is the company? Especially if it's coming from another person. But if it was coming from a company, like for instance, I post in job groups, and a lot of times I post from my PCDS Facebook page into another job group, then they'll probably know it's legit, especially if I was hiring. But I'm not. But if they didn't post any of the information, you're like, what? And they just post a phone number. You want to kind of be aware of it. Sometimes it is, true. But if you're anything like me, if a person posts and I'm clicking on their name, especially with Facebook, I'm clicking on their name, I'm look at their profile. What are you doing? So the second thing is grammatical errors or typos. Oh my God, this is like, I don't want to say it's my pet peeve because I've had some grammatical errors. I don't want to say correct errors, and I went back and corrected. But if it's a huge amount, especially when you're getting emailed for a job and you're like, what? It has so many grammatical errors. So something like, they didn't have an apostrophe, and like if they were saying wasn't, and they didn't have the apostrophe to a I've, or commas in the wrong places, or my one pet peeve, if they do an I and they don't capitalize it, because that's a pronoun. That's supposed to be capitalized. So that is a clear indicator. I don't want to say a clear indicator, but it's some indication that, you can detect that those grammatical errors. And with a larger companies, what they usually do is a process, just behind the scenes HR recruiting thing. Larger companies usually have a process before they even post a job. They have to have it in a certain format, and then sometimes they have to run it through legal, and it has to get reviewed before they even post it. So a good company will have some type of process in place before they post their jobs, especially on social media, because they don't want to look bad. So we want to attract, not scare people away. So the next thing is the contact email that they list in the posting, especially on Facebook or something, is not a company email. So if you ever email us, it they don't have the domain name in the email. So you see the domain that I have, pcdservices.org. So one way to contact us is info@pcdservices.org. So if they don't have that, and they got like Charlize Rice at Outlook.com. Now, I used to have one. You don't get me wrong, and I upgraded. I can understand if a smaller company is somebody is just starting out, they're independent contractor or something like that. But bigger companies, if they say you're gonna be working for Frito Lay, but it's Charlize Rice at Outlook.com, and you might want to be aware of that. Or if they have something else and it's like, why you don't have a company email? Especially if it's a big company or a big well-known company, then that is definitely an indicator. And then for just a plug in for these small businesses, once you start, say stacking, get you a domain, get you a I don't see, get you an email domain and connect the domain to your email. Plug right there. All right, and then the next thing, you can't locate the company. And I say that because if they do list the company and you never heard of it, like me, when I moved to Texas, and a lot of companies I did not hear, never know, research people, do the research, go on Google, go on LinkedIn, look them up and see if it's a legit company, Better Business Bureau, something like that. But your first thing is to Google it. We got so much access to internet on our phones. Google it, make sure they're a legit company. And sometimes you'll go to the company site and they still look funny, but make sure you do your research, because that is going to be a good indicator to detect if they're legit or not. And so, what are some other ways, Charlize? Here we go. Um, if their interview process um, requires an online messenger, so it's an online messenger interview, and I say that because I never had anybody that used, Messenger, Facebook Messenger. I would feel kind of some type of way if they want to use Facebook Messenger. And maybe some companies out there that do, but I don't know about that. If you're a large company, you do have a platform. Use Skype, something like that. They will use Skype. And Google used to have Hangouts, and so that used to be an indicator too as well. But they moved over to now they're Meeting or something, Google Meet or something. It's no more Hangouts. And also FaceTime or Duo. But I will say FaceTime because I used to work for a company that they use FaceTime, but it was a legit company. So if some companies may just use it, some managers do. If they want to set it up that way, that's cool. As long as it's the management you work for. But still be careful to do your research before you get to that. And so another great indicator, I don't want to say great, but they want your personal information up front. So personal information is like your social security number. No. So that's like a fraud. So we did the interview. Now you're like, oh, give me your social security number. You want over the phone? You want to what? So it is a process in place, or it's a secure network, or some type of confidentiality network that they use. If anybody familiar with onboarding, you did some onboarding, did background, whatever, you enter your information, that's a secure network. So you don't want to give out that information if they asking for it over the phone. You're like, I don't know about that. Seem kind of fraudulent. So, and then The next thing, the big thing, is they ask for money immediately. So if you're talking to somebody and they're like, oh, they want you to Western Union 500 or 50 $500, or Cash App, PayPal, something like that. Send them some money, and then you'll start working. And oh, this is just for your uniform and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't know about that, because that Cash App say, Charlize Rice or something like that. That's kind of, weird, and I don't know about that. You just like, okay, hang up. So be very careful about that. Now, it is a company that I just posted. They're a legit company, but once you go through training and everything, they make you pay like a fee to put the software that they use onto your computer. So it's a legit company. Content, I forgot what it is, but y'all can look. But it's a legit company. They don't ask for it up front. You got to do some steps. You got to go through their hiring process. It's still a step in a process to get to that point. So, and the last one, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So if they telling you you're gonna get paid like $10,000 per week, 40,000 a month, if you have to sign up, just give me your social security number, we get you started, then it probably is. And I've seen a lot of stuff, or a lot of times what I don't like, especially with posting, is that they don't put in, they say, oh, inbox me, I inbox you the info. People of business, why you can't just put all the information on the posting? Just put it there, like, this is for this job, this, that, and the other, and this how you apply. I don't know. That's just my pet peeve. Just put everything there so it'll be easier on you when you're recruiting, because you ain't got to depend on, I got to inbox 20 people. Just put everything on the post. So it probably is. So I thank you for joining me for Tuesday Talk. And what I want y'all to do, and especially, I want y'all to know knowledge is power, and sharing knowledge is empowerment. Work is a relationship. It's building blocks, but they build a relationship. That's why it's a process. But if you have ever, if you know somebody has been a victim, or I don't want to say they're a victim of fraud because of they apply to a poster, help other people be aware, drop in the comments or something like that. So we'll be aware. We'll know, hey, ABC company over there is a fraud from Akubu somebody, something like that. So we want to be aware. I thank you for joining me, and always, as usual, follow, like, or subscribe. Honestly, I really don't use Twitter that much. If you're on Twitter, but still follow me on Twitter, Instagram, PCDS, PCD Serve, LinkedIn, look us up by company name. And if you're already watching on Facebook, go to the other ones as well. And until next time, I thank you. Y'all have a great day.